Thanks for joining in. Just wait for 2 more minutes before we start the conversation and let more people join in. Qualiji, can you play the AV? Okay, that's it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in today's Tool Talk session on opportunities in tooling industry, challenges and opportunities for tool makers in the tooling industry. And as we all know that, automotive has been always the biggest consumer of tools and dies, but there are other industries that are gaining a lot of prominences and will also be creating huge opportunities for the tool makers. And one of that industry is electrical industry, which is growing rapidly. And as per the reports, it is projected to reach about 52 billion by 2027 in India, growing in double digit about 11.68%, and it's been the same journey since last few years. So what kind of opportunities it will create? What are the challenges to design and make mold for the electrical industry? And what kind of skill set will be required? We all will be discussing this with Mr. Dominic Savio. He is a General Manager, Central Process Engineering, Legrand, India. Welcome, Mr. Dominic.
Thank you. Thank you.
So before we start the conversation, I would just like to give a brief introduction of Mr. Dominic. Mr. Dominic is currently working as a General Manager, Central Process Engineering at Legrand, India. And at Legrand, he is responsible for the plastic industrialization for the company's all unit in India. Mr. Dominic has a total of 30 years of rich experience. He started his career with NTTF Vellore and later joined MDS Switchgear. After having good exposure at MDS Switchgear, he moved to Malaysia and worked at CTEM Malaysia. And after spending a couple of years in Malaysia, he joined Legrand India in 2000. And since then, he's been playing an instrumental role at Legrand India Central Process Engineering Department as General Manager and has developed around 1,500 molds for the Legrand Group so far. Also in 2019, Mr. Dominic received the Legrand CEO Award for Customer Engagement Excellence. Great. So it seems like you have a great experience on electrical industry, specifically since you have developed, for 1,500 molds and you also engage with a lot of tool makers in India, sir. So looking forward to the next 30-40 minutes with you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the warm welcome and introduction about me. So let us go ahead, as Mr. Nishant has explained. The Indian industry, not only in electric industry is growing, but electrical industry is in a fast track. So right. Let us see what can be let us just discuss and find out, what is the challenges and opportunities. Are we missing the train? So that's need to be discussed.
Let's find out. So just to start the conversation, if you can just speak briefly about Legrand and specifically about your tooling activities. What all you do at Legrand India in terms of tooling activities?
Okay. So just, a lot of people, I mean, in Indian mold making, a lot of people may be knowing about Legrand. So, but still, I will just give an introduction about Legrand, the organization. It's an MNC. The headquarters is in France. So it started in 1865, and they were for porcelain dishes makers, porcelain dish
Okay.
makers. In 1904, it was taken over by Frederick Legrand. In 1919, started making the electrical products.
Okay.
In 1949, following a factory fire, they decided to focus on switches and sockets. They entered into, then slowly, they entered into, the protection devices, cabling management, and, the rack systems, the panel building. So now they become a major player in the world electrical industry.
Right.
I remember when I visited, France, there's a showcase to show about the history of Legrand. So I saw a one A4 sheet catalog paper. That was the first catalog paper of, Legrand in the world. That is with one. I don't remember one or two products. That's all. Today,
Right.
I'm very proud to say that we are touched more than 300,000 catalog products.
Wow.
Okay, and it is established around 90 countries. And market presence, we have in 180 countries.
Nice.
So yeah. So now we are focusing on, as India, the world is growing, industry is growing, and demands are growing. So we are mainly focusing on, sustainable development and energy saving products. More focus is on sustainable development and energy saving products. That is the demand of the day.
Right.
As a support to, sustainable development, we entered into the new segment. We launched new products on the EV chargers. See, now we are into the EV chargers also. So that is one of the key player, key requirement for the sustainable development. So Legrand has having around 8 manufacturing units in India, and we have a lot of requirement of, thermoplastic and as well as thermoset.
Okay.
So present, but currently the average requirement of the molds, I say it's 280 plus. So roughly around 300 molds we need. Right now we are developing for per year. And I'm with the fast growing, mode. I'm very proud to be a part of this Legrand family. So today we don't make our own mold in-house. So maybe one or two molds, that's all. So we don't make mold in-house. We buy all the molds from our subcontractors.
Okay.
And I can say that we buy most of the molds, and it's more than, 1,500 molds, which I mentioned. So all the molds were developed in India. Not even a single mold imported from, other countries.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and we have very strong, the mold design, mold inspection, and buy-off checklist prepared and based on our scope of supply. And and also we are, I can proudly say that we have very good productive team. So that means, 6 people is handling around 300 molds in a year.
Wow. Okay.
Right from design, development, the follow-up, trials, buy-off, and commissioning of these molds. It's
Okay.
not it's not a simple task.
Okay. Okay. Right.
So, yeah, that's we can say that, the where we are in today in Indian electrical industry, and the demands, and the about our tooling activities and our activities today.
Got it. Got it. So you spoke about 8 plants you have, and a lot of molds are being developed in India by your vendors and partners. Do you also export any mold from India to your global facilities? Like, is there any molds that have been used for the global facility as well?
It is not in a, not in a big share, but we are exported around 40 to 50 molds from India. That is
Okay.
to Italy, a few molds, then to Turkey,
Okay.
then to France or somewhere. So this has happened around 5 or 8 years back. So after that, all we made for Indian requirement only.
Okay. Okay. So you spoke about electrical industry growing rapidly in India, and you are also quite a bit about the Indian market. What kind of opportunities it creates for the tool makers?
You see, when I speak about, when I'm speaking about our requirement, like, it's a today, if you see the share, so
Right.
you are just saying, I done a, market survey. So today, I think where we have stand is 45% of market, molds market for electric and 45% for automobile, and balance, I
Okay.
think, around 10% for the other industries. So, in 2022 and 23, the requirement was, it's nearly, 30 to 40%. So you can
Okay.
see, out in 2023 onwards, you can see a huge jump on the requirement of electric industry. So that may be the growth of Indian economy. And second thing is, it's look like, a lot of people who used to buy the mold from, China or Vietnam or, from Korea. So slowly, they are moving back to India. So knowingly the strength of Indian tooling industry.
Okay.
So Legrand, when we speak about Legrand point of view, see, our requirement was 150 molds in 2022, roughly. And 2023, it has gone to 300. And 24, we are expecting another 280 to 300. So it shows that, even for the Legrand, it shows this is the, the growth. So you can imagine, other electric industry will also maybe in the same path. So
Okay.
the requirement is going to happen. It's huge. It's which you cannot. And for me, the huge demand. But I'm doubtful whether the Indian tool rooms are ready to handle this demand.
Okay.
For me, the answer is no. So this is based on my real experience with Indian tool makers. So with today, we are not able to handle. So even the requirement is going up, it will be difficult to handle.
So when you say Indian companies are not in that position to handle the kind of demand that might come from the electrical industry, is it from the point of view of capacity or from the point of your skill set, or both, or how is it?
I should say it's both.
Okay.
See, capacity is an issue, and the skill also an issue. This is a simple question. We have the good mold makers in India. We have the skill in India. So still nobody talk about exporting the mold. Very few people are, or the market share is very less, which we export the mold to the global market. So the reason
Okay.
is that, we are nowhere in the Indian, the world tooling map. So
Right.
today
Right.
the demand is huge. Now you see, only small players cannot. So the small players who are there in the tool room in India have to increase their capacity. Because, for example, if one tool room is having 10 molds, we can make 10 molds per month. So how many molds I can give? Maximum 2 or 3, because he will be having other customers also. He has to keep them other customers. So you have to increase your capacity. You have to improve your infrastructure. You have to improve your skill. So otherwise, it's a bottleneck today.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so as we know that making mold for every industry require different set of skill set. So what is it like to design and build mold for the electrical industry? What kind of skill sets are needed mostly?
You see, this question is a bit tricky question. When I say only for electric industry, see, we just will let us classify, do not classify between electrical and automobile. Okay. So normally people say that, okay, there is a difference between electrical, the molds which is required for electrical and mold which is required for automobile. Yes, there is a difference, but it is not because of it does not mean that automobile does not need the precision. So let us differentiate between the precision and long life molds.
Okay.
So if you take out, if you take out of some components, if you look at some components of automobile, I'm not talking about all the components. There are non-precision components are available, but there are some components which is very tricky and very complicated. Even like side core. I mean, there is side core inside side core concept. So I've seen this component which is developed in India, which is very complicated, but the life may be required for that tool. It's not like the life required for the electric industry, because electrical industry play with the volume, huge
Okay.
volume. So there it comes the difference. So there your approach towards the mold manufacturing for electric industry and mold manufacturing for the auto industry should be different. And you should differentiate your process. There should be a difference in the approach. There's even in the design, in your skill, in your assembly, whatever, even in the trials, machine used for the trials, machine used for the
Okay.
production. There should be a difference in for the electric industry, because
Okay.
both are why I'm saying it is same. Both are playing with the human life. If any mistake goes wrong, it's in a vehicle, it's harmful to the human life. So for electric industry, if something goes wrong, it's again we are playing with the human life. So both are important in the point of the human life wise. But the difference will be the precision and the long life.
Okay.
And for automobile, for me, it's the volume is it's not the volume game; it's short life.
Okay. 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 So let's move on to the next question. Let's say I own a small tool room and I've been serving the automotive industry for a long time, and now I want to diversify to the other industries, and I have zeroed down on electrical industry to start with. So what kind of skill set,
Okay.
infrastructure, know-how I would need to venture into the electrical industry with the same set kind of infrastructure? Can I do that, or do I need to add something else?
See, I think there are some points which are already covered in the earlier this thing. So again,
Right.
I say that it's not the precision and the normal modes, and the infrastructure. So maybe for your when we say non-precision or normal modes, you don't need high-end machines, but you have to focus on for the when you say infrastructure, all there are with all the high-end and very good machines are available in India. It is if it is something invented today, it is available tomorrow, and people are interested to buy also. So you have a good
Right.
market for it. So you have to focus on the high-end machines. You have to define your requirement, like what is the speed you want, what is the feed rate of the machine you need, because that is going to be added value on your lead time, and
Right.
also the what is the amount of material you're going to do, what is the precision possible, machining precision possible, and what you want, what you're looking for. Today, the demand of the customer is increased, the bar they are raised, because earlier the people used to say that okay, it is possible to have the engage, or the tolerance limit is say only this much. But today the demand, okay, we want this is my requirement. So we cannot say no to the customer. So we have to struggle and find out how to find out. So there the machine plays a huge role.
Okay.
And second thing is like skill. Today, if when you speak about skill, it's a question mark today. They were having a good skill, good Indian tool makers were there. They were spread out. They're being abroad. Abroad. They are there in Malaysia. They were there in Singapore, Australia, Canada. They are there. They have good name. But today, we lost a lot of skill to the abroad. And today's industrial scenario, youngsters are not ready to come to the the tool making field.
Join the tooling industry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a wherever you travel, wherever you discuss with the tool makers, you can see that you don't have the skill. And sometimes, frankly, I would like to tell them when I do the follow up with our mold makers, sometimes something gets delayed. Then the answer which I get, we are having some manpower shortage. So which I never used to see. I mean, 4 or 5 years before, that was not the situation. 4 or 5 years, the situation has changed. Now the market is growing, but the skill set is, so we have to, if you're going to start a tool room, this was your question. So, or the existing tool room, what they have to do, you have to find out a way how to retain, how to train and retain. So you don't depend on the tool makers, or you're trained to tool makers, which is available, or you have a lot of institutions. Of course, you should have them. You try to find out, like ITA people, you take some ITA people, train them, you take 10 people. 5 will go, but 5 will still there will be with you.
Okay.
So you have to. So otherwise, otherwise you will not be able to sustain. Once you, if this is going to be there, after sometimes you can see that there will not be any mold makers in India.
Right.
So, and when you talk about when you are going for a new tool room, so you should have your, latest technology, like knowledge and facility and resources for mold flow analysis, warpage test, and also coating. You should have your subcontractor for the coating facilities. You should tie up with the coating facilities, and more focus on the new accessories, new components, which is already there are a lot of people are working on the new inventions. Something always can be standardized. A lot of people are coming up. So try to standardize. Leave the traditional way of mold making. You have to leave the traditional way of mold making. You have to you standardize as fast as possible. So, and also you should have a very good, when I visit, some of the tool rooms, they have the machines, everything, but they're not focused on the metrology. You should have a good machine, VMC, you should have, VMM, your video measuring machine. So this is all good instruments, good branded instruments you should have. So that gives, the quality department can play a major, a vital role in a tool room. So this should be the focus if you're entering India as a new tool room. And of course, the trial facility. Don't depend on subcontractors, your subcontractor trial. You should have in-house trial facility. You need to spend ample time on the trial. Maybe one mold, you may need to spend 1 day to make a new mold, to prove a mold.
Okay. Right. So you have already given the checklist. Actually, my next question was regarding Legrand, where if anyone wants to become your supplier, how they can become, what are your checkpoints and all those things. But I think you have answered most of those. But if you want to add anything, what are those?
Yes, normally if you see, so for example, if I visit and if I go by a systematic approach, so what I do, I just check the number of years of experience in precision and long life mold making. So this is my requirement. So how many molds they made and what is their experience and capacity of the tool room. So minimum I look 10 molds per month. So better, I always prefer if those who make 20 molds per month, because when I look at, they should have different customer base also. So I'll be aiming for 2 or 3 or 4 molds per supplier. And of course, anything about 20 is best. So at least 20 molds per month and 10 molds also I will consider. So, and also I will check for what is the established lead time. Now, today, earlier people used to take 12 to 14 weeks. Now nobody will wait for 12 to 14 weeks because we have seen that China has demonstrated their speed. Right. So like, I will just check, what is the demonstrated lead time, which is established, and my requirement will say 6 to 8 weeks. That's which I'll check. And also it should be 98% okay sample dimensionally and 100% aesthetically okay. Why I say so? Why it is 98 and 100 aesthetically? Because, normally the aesthetic problem will be like, the particle in flashes and the zinc marks. This is the major, the defects you face when you submit the samples. So for example, if you take a case of zinc mark, when you submit the T1 sample, there is, just compromised on the zinc mark. It goes to the R&D. They say, everything is okay, dimension is okay, but you have to improve the zinc mark before shifting the mold. Right. So what do? You will try to work on the mold. You will change some parameters. You will remove the zinc mark. You will lift the mold and come. And suddenly you will find that in the assembly or in the functional area, you will find a problem. So everybody will run here and there. They said, why? There's nothing else. We have not touched on the component area. We are just touched on the gate, or we change the parameters. That's all. But how can I? The reason is that when you do the packing or change some parameters, it's going to play on the dimension. Okay. So when you give a T1 samples, it should be the perfect process. And when you do we can establish a perfect process if your component is aesthetically okay. Then you can test the dimensional requirement. So that's the reason. That is one of my I should say major checklist or major demand when I approve a new mold maker. And material, what are material and standard comments are used? A lot of people are available. A lot of players are available. Good players are available. Local players are available. Branded players are available. So we have some certain requirement which is mentioned in our equipment specification. So I will look at that. What all the how they are tied up with their mold-based suppliers or component suppliers, and check the number of designers, the skills, the speed of the design making. Obviously I raise some questions. How many molds and how many days you need it. Right. And check what are the machines available, then mold makers, numbers of the mold makers. Because when you talk about, somebody says that, 10 molds I can make per month. So I just evaluate, whether they will be able to make 10 molds or not. So which I can estimate or I can calculate from the, the number of tool makers, number of designers, number of infrastructure, and facilities which is available. So you can just imagine, whether they will be able to make it or not. Got it. And the last and final requirement is the trial facility. Most of the cases, if you run, you travel around in Indian tool makers, because of people don't focus on the trial requirement. They just, they depend on the subcontractors. But I will tell you why I am against this. So people say, why? That's only the trial. But it is not only the trial. Suppose, for example, if you go to a subcontractor, they will, okay, it is known to you, it's your relative or it's your friend, or so you'll go, okay, I'll give you the machine for trial. So they, okay, how much hours you required? So they will say 3-4 hours, we'll finish it off. But if you're lucky, you'll order it 3-4 hours, you'll be able to do it. But if you find that some problem, you need to do some corrections. You need to change the parameters. You need to various ways, the cooling connections and change the temperatures. It's like maybe a shift. So then what happens? The subcontractor will put a pressure because he must have released their machine from the production machine must have released based on your relationship for the trials. So your trial will become incomplete. And what happens? You will submit the sample somehow to your customer. So then you will find later, when you go for the qualification, you will find a lot of struggle. But when you have your own machines in-house, it is your under custody. Of course, it is an investment, but I'm promising you, it will pay you back. 100% it will pay you back. Your number of trials, your proving of trials will be minimized. Your target should be 2 trials, the more should be true. When you increase the number of trials, you're finished. Your money will be you will be losing the money from your profit. And the last point which I will be checking, how they keep the confidentiality, because we have a lot of requirement of confidentiality, and not only Legrand, a lot of everybody is focusing on that. They come with new things, new inventions, so they are looking at the new market. So I'll see that how a mold maker keeping the confidentiality.
Okay.
So this is this checklist for me when I'm approving the mold maker.
Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of people have already started posting questions, but just to request from my side, keep on posting those questions. I'll just keep short my conversation because there are so many questions that Mr. Dominic can answer after our conversation. So Mr. Dominic, just 2-3 more questions from my side. You mentioned about the China, and China is a place from where most of our tool imports are coming. And I also know that you have some experience. You have traveled to China, and also, would you like to share some of your experience of meeting those Chinese tool makers and versus the Indian?
Yeah, of course, it's a very interesting question. Today, the demand, as you told, it is around 64,000 million Indian rupees. The market which is going to, or which is just getting increased.
Okay.
So if we don't match the speed and the quality, I should say, of China, then no way we will lose this market. So but when I'm putting the statement, speed and the quality, when I'm putting statements, some people may not agree with this because they will have some bitter experience also. Because for me also it was like that. You have different stages, level of mold makers are available in China. You will get very low cost tool manufacturers there, which some you import it, then you will find out some issues. So where I visited 2-3 mold makers in China. So there I found they're not different from us. They're nowhere different from us. I should say that we have much better than the tool rooms in India. They have the same machines what we are using, same machines, same tool makers, same process, everything is same. But where it makes a difference, I was visiting one of our companies, so I was a bit surprised to see that their infrastructure is very small, not very big, around 6 to 8 EDM machines, then 1 or 2 wire cut machines, the normal CNC milling machines and everything, and the manpower from their sweeper to the top management is just 50.
Okay.
Can you just imagine, how many numbers more they make? In India, for me, they may make around 15 to 20 molds.
Okay.
So I was a bit surprised to hear their answer. It was 45 molds per month.
Wow.
I don't think so, but there's no, and also manpower, the 8 EDM machines, 2 ladies were operating. That's all.
Okay.
Just 2 ladies. So they focused on the automation. And when you go into their tool room area in one corner, a huge mountain, and so as I thought, what it is, it's all Irova systems. Irova system everywhere. Nobody works without the Irova. So India also, it started coming out. Some people are continuously using. I can see that, but still, some people still not convinced on using this, but surely you have to go for it. Yes, I agree that the initial investment is high, but it will pay you back. It will pay, because the Rava system or 3R system is going to kill your deadly hours. You see, you have to find the difference is the tool makers is in the same process you are doing, where they are gaining the time. They are killing the deadly hours.
Okay.
They are killing the deadly hours. And what I've seen is that, and I'm not saying that they are much faster to us. They are faster by killing the deadly hours. But if you're going to buy a mold from China, and with a painful heart, I want to say, because 1,500 molds when I made, not even a single mold are imported. But today, due to the capacity issues, due to the lead time issue, I placed 10 molds, some molds in China.
Okay.
And absolutely the T1 sample came before time. And normal follow-up only. So but later, again, when I'm buying the mold from China, so I have a lot of deadly hours. The formalities for importing, sending the trial materials, it's all huge activities to be done. It's all hidden costs. So what we have to do, and a lot of people have started doing it. A lot of people are moving from China to India. I can see that. I met a lot of my friends saying that, no, we are not going to buy some mold from China. So we are going to develop the mold in India. So that is the reason the mold making requirement is suddenly catching up. You can go and check. Most of the tool rooms are full. So what we have to do, I think a lot of friends who are listening to me, they must have traveled, some of the people, at least once or twice to China.
Okay.
So we always say that they are speed. So you have to see that why they are speed. What I've seen there, they have, wherever I went, it is a cluster. It's like a tooling village. So the mold maker, it is their core business. They focus on their core business, mainly on the core cavity design and development. So, but what all things you need to make that molds, it's in and around it is available. It's on just 5 meters, 10 meters, 15 meters, 20 meters, everything is available. You name out a hot runner system, it's available. You ask about ejector pins, it's available. Anything you ask, mold base, it's available. So you don't need to, because we always curse, we used to curse our, Indian administration system, saying that, infrastructure is no good, it is a transportation is huge a day. Then you have to find out a way how to do it. The simple answer is the tooling hub, the tooling village. So that means, for example, when you take a trial, an ejector pin is broken, then you know what our tool makers are to say, sir, ejector pin is not just to take 1 or 2 weeks to come the ejector pin. So sometimes, they may don't have in the stock, so 2 or 3 blade ejector or some ejector pin breaks. No, this has recently happened with me. But okay, I don't say that you have to keep this inventory with you. Okay, because it may be a specific blade ejector, specific length, it's a specific requirement. But if you have somebody nearby 15-20 meters, if you forget about 1 kilometers, so you will get it in a minute's time, and in an hour time, you will get it. So this is only the way. This is only the way India can enter into world tooling map. Then nobody can beat us.
Okay. That's great. Insightful, definitely, on how the cultural work Chinese have adopted and the cluster approach is working for them, even though they have the same sort of infrastructure what Indians have. Great.
No, I think I should say that they have, when I was actually, he has placed some complicated mold bases around 2,000 kilometers away from his mold shop, from his tool room. But, he got it 24 hours.
Wow.
That is because of that road and, their transportation system. So that's the reason I'm saying that, you must see, for example, when I take, I'm sitting in Nasik. If I say go to Nasik tool makers, so you don't have much, the mold base supplies. Most of the people will be buying from Hyderabad or Bangalore, it may be. So just work out of those tool makers who are located in Nasik. What is your annual requirement mold basis? Somebody take a decision, okay, I will make the mold makers, mold bases in Nasik only. And you club all these people together and ensure that you get this mold basis.
Okay.
And you work something like that, it will be amazing. You will see the difference.
Okay.
Because this is what China has demonstrated, which I've seen there, that otherwise I don't see any difference.
Right. So just 2 more questions from my side. as someone who has spent years in the electrical mold industry and has worked with a lot of mold makers from around the world and India, of course, what are your expectations from the Indian tool makers? What are your suggestions to Indian tool makers?
I think a lot of answers has came already in that, but still, the one is faster delivery.
Okay.
Today, the customer demand is, the faster delivery and trouble-free molds. The problem is that today, in 3 hours run or you do qualification of the molds, you bring the mold in house. Then later you will face a lot of, the 3 hours you cannot judge. After 4 or 5 hours, one shift, you start having some trouble. So the Indian toolmaker, the mold builder has to find out a way how you are going to ensure that it is going to run trouble-free. It is normally we get I'll give you some example. It's like, scoring marks. So why this? You have to find out, and this is repeatedly it is happening. So why the scoring mark is happening? Angle lifter, the ejector system grid jam. So this all minor issues are happening. So you have to see that one to keep the message to go all over the world. The trouble-free molds, how it can be made, and long life assurance. What is, because what I'm just talking about electric industry. What is the life? See, wherever I travel or wherever I discuss with, today, what is it? 1 lakh shots, 2 lakh shots. So this is or 1 year, whichever the earlier, that is the guarantee you give it. Whereas my demand is 4 million shots. And you will not believe there are tool makers who makes, which I have the molds I'm running. It's crossed 4 million shots. We have the molds. So that means it means that you have the skill to do it. But the consistency is not there. The same mold maker, when he makes next time, I don't get 4 million.
Right.
So and also the service after sales. So what Indian tool makers, so because, I would like to say a simple story, which I got, sorry. Recently, I attended a meeting with my boss. So I take, I maybe he must have joined in this group also. I take his, with his permission, I would like to share what he shared with me. For example, when you say today, the customer requirement is already by the designer and mold manufacturers fixed. It's like a seesaw. You remember seesaw, how it works? It's like this. So my fulcrum point is fixed. This is my customer. So I say that, okay, this is only I can give it. So, but if somebody wants to designer, if he increase it, say, I wanted to do this, then the tool maker will say that, no, it's not possible. Okay. So then the designer goes back. So, but the customer is not getting satisfied. So what you have to do is, it will be like a scissors. So scissors, what happens? So you imagine this is a designer and this is a tool maker. I mean, I'm talking about mold designer and a tool maker. Okay. So a mold designer say that, okay, I wanted to make it this. And so yes, I will try. So what happens? Your fulcrum point goes up. When you move the scissors, like this, and when the designer's capability goes up and tool maker agree to do it, negotiate and compromise on the design, your fulcrum point with the customer goes up. Never should say no. You should try. You should think out of box. If this happens from seesaw to make your concept to scissors concept, the customers India will be happy. Surely you will see the miracles in Indian mold making.
That's great, and that's great analogy as well. That's great, and I think that's end of our conversation. It was definitely insightful. You spoke about the challenges and many points that you would like to, many things that you want tool makers.
Yeah, just I wanted to give, the Indian tool makers, what should be the future should be. Try to think out of box, leave traditional way of mold making. Expectation of customer, you may think that always expectation of customers is in the next level. You have to rise and meet it. Plan to develop own manpower skill. This is what I was asking. If you are not going to do, this is going to be the need of the hour. This is going to be the need of tomorrow. You have to, don't depend on the institute. Depend on the institute. You try to train some, IT. I just specifically on that IT people and retain somebody with you. And start to keep the steel in stock, or try to build up cluster. Let the cluster keep the steels in stock, because steel today, when you say steel industry, I mean for the steel we have to wait. Everybody say that 2 weeks only we get the steel. So that's a deadly hours. The deadly time 2 weeks, that is to be killed. And now it is the AI world now. So just think about what TACMA can do to take an initiative, how to use AI technology in the machine learning and the skill development. Why not?
Right.
It's a out of box thinking. Why not you use the AI facility? Maybe it's today people may feel that it is why Dominic is raising or throwing such a question, but that is going to be need of the tomorrow.
Right.
And the new things, like stack mold. You see, only few world you cannot find good people in India to make stack molds. In Europe, it is in a big way it is going, because that
Right.
is also giving a big productivity. So be prepared for the paradigm shift and raise India into the world map of tooling. This is my advice to all the Indian tool makers.
That's great, and I'm sure all tool makers who have joined today's session must have made a note of it. Thank you so much. Thanks for your insights. As we collect the questions, shared by the audience, we'll just watch this small video while I'm collecting the question. All right. Thank you. So we have first question from Mr. Gopala Krishnan. He says, sir, thank you very much for accepting to participate in today's tool talk. My question to you, sir, is how do you compare the introduction of new plastic polymer by plastic majors vis-a-vis new tool steel grades for making plastic molds by top mills? Also, when it comes to tool steel for your specific range of plastic molds, are you satisfied with the present grades available in the market, or would you like to have some specific requirement of yours being addressed by the tool steel manufacturers?
Okay, so it's a very long question, so I could not catch all the points, but the one point I catch it because whether I'm happy with the available the steel grades in India. So if you ask me, cutthroat answer, it is no. But if you say I'm satisfied, the reason is that, so, 1.234 or 1.2083 is doing well. So a lot of good suppliers are there. When it comes to the, for me, as on today, when it comes to the corrosion and the, toughness. So my experience is that, I had to keep on replacing the pieces. That is only the solution what I see. But I don't get a permanent solution like, for the various, it behaves differently with the different, for example, if it is a glass fill. So I have a mold which is running, every week or every month, I change the inserts, keep on changing because different steels we tried. So this area where we need to the tool steel suppliers and tool makers work together, whether it is a process or an issue, whether it is a steel is an issue.
Okay.
Otherwise, in today, I think but only that, as I explained, it is not the quality of the steel. The question is the availability in time.
Right. Second question from Mr. Ankush. Sir, as you said, Indian tool rooms are lacking in the capacity. What will be your key suggestions to meet the market demand to Indian tool makers?
See, that's what I explained, in my discussion, what I explained, like copy the China cluster. Second thing is, you go ahead with the new technology, which I recently seen in one tool room in India. They already, two tools are already seen. RoboCell. It's amazing. So they have, the speed is quite, they talk about today 6 to 8 weeks of, 8 cavity molds.
Okay.
So, you have a CNC machine, electrode milling machine, then you have a RoboCell in between, and you have a ED machine. Only one manpower. And it's a programmer. You do the program and everything. The sequence is programmed. It is milled. It's picked by the cell. By sequence. It is loaded on the EDM machine and no manpower involved. Holidays, long holidays, Diwali holidays, the tool room runs.
Okay. Okay.
So that is the way, with the available resources, you will be able to increase the the number of molds per month.
Okay.
And reduce the number of trials.
Right. Next question from Mr. Bila Patil. Which region of India tooling suppliers of Legrand at present? I think he's asking from which region you are sourcing tools mostly from India. Mr. Dominic, can you hear us?
To buy all the. Am I audible? In between, I lost.
No, I think last 15-20 seconds we lost you. Now again,
yeah, because I think it is not the network. Okay, so the question was cancelled. Just again repeat. Just 1 minute.
From
Vilas Patil question.
Which region of India tooling suppliers?
So yeah. So, since I was focusing, I used to say that, from 2000 itself, my dream is, when the business comes to India, the mold maker should get all the opportunities in India. So I travel all over the India, and I have the mold makers from Kerala to, I have the mold makers to, Delhi. Okay. All over I spread it, in Maharashtra we have, so everywhere we have, not in all the states. So I have in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Delhi.
Okay.
Yeah. So
right.
We have around 14 approved mold makers.
There is a question from Mr. Anis, which seems highly technical. What is your recommendation on battery management system parts to meet flatness requirement of 0.4 mm?
This is is it for the battery part you are talking about?
Battery management system parts, and then in bracket it says PA66, GF 30%, and PBT GF 30%.
No, but I think I have to check and tell, because I don't have much experience on this.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next question from Mr. Tajinder Singh. What future trends in the electrical sector should tool manufacturers be prepared for?
Come again, repeat again.
What future trends in the electrical sector should tool manufacturers prepare for?
See, for sure, the huge requirement is going to come. This is what I explained. This is from for Legrand point of view. Also, I know that a lot of molds are going to come. I can see the increase in this one. So be prepared, as I told you. Be prepared, and it is required. The high precision molds. Within less number of time. I mean, trials, the mold to be proved, and you have to focus on your manpower skill only. Okay. Machine is always available. Manpower, focus on the designers and focus on tool makers. So automatically, the business will flow in.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Bila Patil. Is there any skill development plan of Legrand for Indian tool makers to settle down local development?
So see, for personal point of view, see, I'm giving, whenever I visit some tool makers, I used to give some classes. I used to do some experience, my experience. So I used to call for small meetings with our own tool makers. So I used to give, speech, and I used to give some training, about the mold inspection, how to do it. This type of training. Otherwise, in an arranged manner, we are not yet thought of. But I think it's a good question. So we may have to think about that. Even for sure, if you, my passion will be, okay, after my professional life, my passion will be, for sure, I'll be focusing on to support Indian tool makers to bring or to upgrade the skills, train the people.
That's
I'm ready for that.
very nice to know, sir. Uh, Again, a question from Mr. Anish. Are you following scientific molding process?
Not yet. But we have a plan. This is already we
Okay.
are given to our management. To my boss. We had a discussion, a couple of days ago. So this is the need of the day. So we will be it's a new subject for us, but we have a plan to focus on scientific mold making.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Srinivasan. What is your views to achieve the 0.03 mm tolerance in the glass fill material, considering the along and across side shrinkage value?
See, it is only possible based, even when you do the mold flow also, it will give only limited knowledge. So it may be only 90% only it will give the result. So the main point will be for the warpage is the gate position. You see,
Okay.
even, for our recent example is that in the mold flow, it was showing, it was almost straight. But when you took the trial, it was not the case. So then what we done, we played with the gate position, and because we took some time, gate position, gate profile. The warpage happens, it is only due to the stress which is developed inside the component. So you have to just see that how the stress can be. So by changing the gate profile even, we worked on a new type of profile, and it is given a very good result with the flatness.
Nice.
So otherwise, any written proof or written experience, not that this is my experience by a number of trials, but we played with mainly with the temperature, gate position, and gate profile.
Okay. Okay.
And at the end, if you're not able to do it with a shrinkage, then you have to deviate from the steel. That is the last choice to do.
Okay. Just 2-3 more questions I'll take. This one is from Mr. Lakshmi Narayan. How to overcome challenges of current tooling industry? Skill level are getting reduced. I am hearing from tooling suppliers, manpower issue, and today's generation is not ready to work in the tooling industry.
Correct. So this is what this is a real challenge. Who has asked this question? Yeah, this is from
Mr. Lakshmi Narayan.
It's a see, this is a real problem in the, so this is a real problem which is in the tooling industry. So what do you do? Why people are leaving? So most of the people are going to the IT industry. The reason is that the people are not ready to take the pressure, the huge pressure which is on that. For example, if you're doing a flash correction, the people, okay, flash is done, but the effort what they've taken, the analysis time what they've taken to remove that flash, to eliminate the flash, it is huge. So then, at the end, they don't get an appreciation or they, so it's a, they feel, okay, why I should struggle this much? If I don't struggle this much, with the less struggle, I'll get a good salary or good, good life in the outside. So now you have to see, tool makers, we used to tell that, aane ka time fix hai. When you say in Hindi, aane ka time fix hai, jaane ka time fix nahi hai. It's a reality everywhere. So they come in for the work, but you have to punch at the right time, but the jaane ka time, it's not fixed. So that trend to be eliminated. You have to ensure that you are not under the pressure. You joyfully you have to work. So this you have to see. It is possible. You have to bring the at least some good point of IT what they're doing it.
Right.
So that concept, as long as you bring, if you are not doing something to work balance, I should say, if I'm going to do it, you keep on losing this. This is the area everybody has to work together.
Okay. Next question from Mr. Aditya. Can you elaborate on the role of stack mold technology in the electrical industry, particularly how it contributes to efficiency and precision in tooling? Stack mold technology.
It's a what should I? This is what I was highlighting in my the last point requirement all Indian mold makers also, because why it can play a major role on electric industry components. The reason is we need multi cavities. Normally electric industry you need when you play with the volume. So what happens? Say for example, if I need a 16 cavity, but if my requirement 32 cavity, so due to the complication, if I cannot go, then you plan for a number of molds or more, and the number of machines also increases. When you go for a stack molding, when you give on the backside and the stack mold concept, you're going to put on the 16 cavity on one face and the other side 16 cavity on the same mold. You're going to put 32, so your productivity is double. So it's going to be a major role if somebody, the requirement today is that Europe, the good people are established. India is slowly coming up. So if you expedite on this, it's going to be a good market, stack molding.
Right.
So even we are started working on that. It is our dream to have a stack molds in our house.
Okay. One last question again from Mr. Aditya. How can AI and machine learning technologies be leveraged to enhance tooling process and performance in the electrical industry? And what specific applications are currently being explored?
See, it's a difficult question for me to answer because for me also, it is just started listening AI. So yeah, advantage then we are a lot of things we are hearing about disadvantage. But definitely, I think with the AI technology, I think a lot of people are, a lot of industrial area is started using the AI technology. So today, if you ask me, so with my limited knowledge, I will not be able to clear-cut answer on that. But at least in the learning process, it can be introduced. Tool maker skill can be developed by with the help of AI, with the developing a module. Surely it can help. So because you don't need to wait for the institute people to come out, and institute people when they come out, they come with big hope, from the day one by collar job or whatever it may be. But the DRT is different. So then even in today in the institutes, the people are not there. The people are not going for the tool making training. So there maybe AI can be used. So this is the one subject I think even TACMA can focus on that, how this can be it can be brought into the tooling industry.
Okay, definitely. Definitely. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Dominic, for joining us today and sharing all your insights with us. And I think everyone loved it. We got a good attendance as well today. Thanks to our sponsor as well, SNT Machinery Private Limited, and thanks to all the attendees who took their precious time to attend this session. It is successful because of you all. Thank you so much. And just a note from TAGMA, we are organizing International Touring Summit, which is going to take place from August 29 and 30. Please register, book your seat, and be there because we are going to have such a great, many sessions on that. In fact, Mr. Dominic is also joining us there. So if you want to meet and have this discussion, further, please join us there. Thank you so
Which
much,
the
everyone.
questions is
Thanks,
not
Mr.
some questions are unanswered. We can discuss that. There's not a problem at all.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much for giving an opportunity.
Thanks.